Hey, before we dive into this story, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss moments like this. I never imagined I'd remember my 38th birthday for the reason I did. Usually, birthdays are a mix of awkward gifts, forced smiles, and that one friend who insists you grow up. But this year, it was different. I'd been married to Claire for 12 years, and I thought we had the typical ups and downs any couple experiences. Work stress, bills, late-night arguments over trivial things. Nothing unusual. At least, nothing unusual until that morning. It began like any other birthday. I woke up early, brewed a cup of coffee, and checked my phone. The usual texts from friends, a few memes, and one from my sister that made me smile. Claire was already awake, scrolling on her phone at the kitchen counter. Something felt off. I sensed it immediately, but I shrugged it aside. I'd learned long ago that overthinking rarely helped, especially when Claire got that look in her eyes, a mixture of frustration and distance I'd noticed creeping in over the years. I poured my coffee and walked over. "Morning, birthday boy," I said, half joking, half expecting a smile. She glanced up briefly and muttered, "Happy birthday," before returning to her phone. That tiny pang in my chest hit me, the one that creeps in when the distance between you and someone you love stretches silently over time. I'd mostly ignored it, but not that day. That day it stayed. We sat in silence as I sipped my coffee. Then she looked at me, locking eyes with a calm precision that made my stomach twist. I thought, this is going to be one of those conversations where nothing is simple. She drew a deep breath and said, almost ceremoniously, "I want a divorce." For a split second, the world froze. I blinked. I don't even think I responded right away. Her words weren't angry, cruel, or dramatic. They were flat, matter-of-fact, like she was reading the morning weather instead of ending a 12-year marriage. Inside me, something loosened, like a balloon losing air, a strange mix of shock, disbelief, and clarity. Then, almost reflexively, a smile spread across my face. It wasn't forced. It wasn't happiness in the moment. It was something deeper, a recognition of reality. Quietly but firmly, I said, "That deserves an extra celebration." Claire blinked, surprised. Her lips parted slightly, probably expecting confusion, anger, or tears, but I felt none of those. I had spent the past year navigating a relationship that had slowly become a series of polite silences and calculated coldness. The laughter, the intimacy, the little meaningful gestures, they were gone. And now, she had finally said aloud. I hadn't been unaware. I had known for a long time. She just made it official. I set my coffee down, sat back, and let the words hang in the air. I let the truth sink in. She didn't love me the way she once did. I had wasted enough energy trying to force it back. There was no fight, no shouting, no pleading. There never really had been with Claire. Silence, avoidance, and emotional distance. That had been the pattern for years. This announcement was merely a punctuation mark on a sentence that ended long ago. I remembered the early years of our marriage. Claire had been vibrant, full of laughter and energy, lighting up rooms in a way I had never experienced. We were inseparable, spending weekends on spontaneous road trips, staying up late talking about nothing and everything. I had felt seen, wanted, loved, but somewhere along the way, that spark faded. Conversations became functional. Touches were brief and hesitant. Smiles were polite, but lacked warmth. I had tried everything to rekindle it. Small gestures, thoughtful surprises, dinners I cooked, late-night talks to reconnect. I had even hoped, silently, that maybe I was imagining the distance, that she'd realize she loved me again. But nothing changed. I had been trying to revive a fire that had long burned out. So, when she said, "I want a divorce," my smile wasn't irony or sarcasm. It was liberation. The slow, quiet suffering of months, even years, had finally ended. I realized I hadn't failed. I hadn't been defeated. I had been patient, loyal, willing to fight for a love she had quietly abandoned. That honesty now allowed me to reclaim my life, to breathe again, to live free of a relationship that no longer nurtured either of us. I walked to the window, feeling the morning sun hit the street just right. Warm, but not blinding. For the first time in years, I felt calm, a calm that wasn't tinged with bitterness. I had spent so long trying to make someone love me that I'd forgotten what it felt like to love myself enough to walk away. Today, my birthday, marked more than another year. It marked the moment I finally chose myself. Claire stayed silent, likely expecting a storm. Anger, tears, begging. There was none, just quiet, just me. Confusion flickered across her face. Maybe she had imagined resentment, heartbreak, but neither controlled me anymore. I had lived too long in the shadows of unspoken resentments. Today, I chose light. I poured another cup of coffee, not because I needed it, but to ground myself. I wanted to process, to feel the moment fully without letting it consume me. Claire remained at the counter, occasionally glancing at me, probably realizing that the confrontation she had imagined, the drama, wasn't happening. Instead, I offered clarity, calm, and a hint of triumph, not over her, but over my own hesitation. We didn't argue. We didn't cry. No voices were raised. Only the quiet acknowledgement of truth. Then I said something that surprised even me. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. It was genuine, not pity, not revenge, but the honesty of someone who had finally let go of a weight that wasn't theirs to carry. The house felt different that morning. Empty, yes, but alive in a way it hadn't been for years. The tension that had silently built like a slow leak finally released. And I understood something profound. Liberation isn't loud. It isn't fireworks or grand gestures. It's the quiet, unassuming moment when you reclaim your life without permission. I spent the rest of the morning reflecting on the years we shared, the good, the bad, and everything in between. I remembered laughter, spontaneous trips, late-night talks, the way she brushed her hair behind her ear when laughing at me. I also remembered silences, cold shoulders, nights awake wondering if I was enough. Both were real, both shaped who I had become. But today, I felt free to separate past from present. The memories weren't chains, they were lessons. By noon, I had a plan. Not revenge, not retaliation, but a life plan. Friendships neglected. Hobbies left behind. The joy of waking without someone else's emotional baggage. I realized I'd spent too long trying to make someone else happy at the expense of my own peace. Today, that ended.